Coming up on the Paper Talk today, Marcus Rashford has gone to Barcelona. We know all about that. But who is coming in to Old Trafford? Which number 9 are Manchester United going to be getting in? Because we have been linked with a host of number 9s. There's more reports on it today, so we can get through all that. You can give us your opinion, as I hope you will do as well. Plus, what is going on with the other outgoings? Marcus has moved on. What's happening with the likes of Anthony, Jadon Sancho, Tyrell Malacia? What's going on with Alejandro Garnacho? Let's get into it. Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and the weather is... No, I'm not outside Old Trafford. We're in New York. We're at Times Square because, yes, we are here for the United Tour of the US, the Premier League Tour of the US. Stretford Paddock is here. We're going to have loads of content coming up from the tour. But first of all, let's get into our first news on the US Tour. A lot of the stories doing the rounds this morning focus on United's search for a striker. Now, there's been one of those... articles in the Manchester Evening News that I quite like. It's one of those opinion pieces. I know that Manchester Evening News gets a lot of stick for some of the news stories they do, but I quite like the opinion pieces where they look at all the latest stories doing the rounds for the news and then they give their opinion on them. And they've looked at Manchester United's search for a striker in pretty much the same way that we've been doing on this channel for the last few days. Me and Joe obviously did a video looking at it. Me, Joe and Ronaldo looked at it as well. And looking at the main links there. Now some of the links, the likes of Gyökeres, not happening. It looks like he's going to, or if he's not already, signed for Arsenal. Benjamin Sesko is another one we're being linked with. Manchester Evening News mentions him. There has been some sort of noise around that one. Maybe Manchester United could get the money together. We're talking about 60 to 70 million. The story in the Evening News is this almost race for a striker. How United are in this race to get a new striker in, and how Benjamin Sesko is looking like one of those options. Another one being mentioned as well is Ollie Watkins. Now, of all the strikers being mentioned, Ollie Watkins is the one that seems to tick the most boxes. Premier League proven, scores loads of goals. Yes, he's 29 years old, which isn't ideal, but that means you can probably get him for a little bit less than you'd pay for someone like a Benjamin Sesko, for example. So there's a couple of stories doing the rounds on Ollie Watkins saying that that deal could happen. There's still rumours and reports that Alejandro Garnacho could be wanted by Aston Villa or could head to Chelsea. Now, if he goes to Chelsea, United get the money in, maybe that can be used for a striker. If he goes to Aston Villa, it might be a deal where it's not a swap deal as such, but the money that we use, that we get from Alejandro Garnacho from Villa, we then use it towards Ollie Watkins. So these stories that are doing the rounds are ones we've spoken about a lot, but they are still doing the round for a reason. It looks like there is a real desire from Manchester United to get a new number 9 in, and the likes of Sesko and the likes of Ollie Watkins and even Nicholas Jackson keep getting mentioned. Now, one name that I see mentioned a lot on social media, and he has been mentioned in news articles in the past, is Jean-Phillipe, that's not the right word, Jean-Phillipe Mateta. Mateta seems quite a popular option amongst a lot of Manchester United fans. It's always been spoken about. A few fans have said, and more than a few fans are saying, look, Nicholas Jackson is flawed. Ollie Watkins is all right, maybe he's a little bit older than we need. Benjamin Sesko unproven. There's lots of arguments for and against. A lot of people are saying that Mateta is actually the guy that Manchester United should be looking at. He ticks all those boxes. He's Premier League proven. He's played well when he's played against Manchester United, scored against Manchester United, and Crystal Palace are a club that sell players as well. They don't always sell them for cheap, as we know when we bought Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but is he a potential signing for Manchester United? Could he do a job in that number 9 role? That one seems to be more fan-led. Whenever we talk about certain stories, some are led by the media, some are led by the fact that you look like it's going to happen. It's not just the media, it's social media and the media and people that you rely on, top-tier journalists. Others just seems to be led by the fans. And with Mateta, it just seems like it's just a lot of noise and socials at the minute. Doesn't feel like there's anything concrete in the Mateta stories. The stories that I've looked at and seen are from a little while ago, and even the ones that I've seen more recently are not from reliable publications, and they're not from journalists who I go, yeah, they know what they're on about. They're from people I've not really heard of before. So I don't want to put too much weight in the idea that Mateta could head to Old Trafford. Yes, he might be a popular choice, but as it stands, it doesn't look like he's a likely option. It looks like the likely options for a new number 9 at Manchester United are either Nicholas Jackson, Ollie Watkins or Benjamin Sesko, as we've spoken about extensively on this channel. One player that won't be playing for Manchester United this season in number 9 or any other position is Marcus Rashford. He's completed his move to Barcelona on a loan deal, which looks like there's an option to buy there for 30 million, around 30 million euros. He was unveiled. He saw the pictures of him getting out of the phone box, didn't you? The red phone box, all very English. He's spoken about Manchester United. He says, look, he basically hasn't got any issue in Manchester United. It's all the usual stuff you'd expect, but he's doing a job now for Barcelona. And I've said this before, I'll say it again, I wish him well. I hope his move works out. I hope Manchester United gets some money in for him, and I hope we can use that money to spend elsewhere. Obviously, we're not going to get it yet. If we do get 30 million, it's going to be at the end of the season. But hopefully we can get that money in, and we can move on from what has become a bit of a saga with Marcus Rashford. Even today, when I was seeing it, or last night, when I was seeing it getting unveiled, when I was seeing some of the reports on social media, there's a lot of arguing, a lot of back and forth. Some people criticising him, some people saying the club have done him dirty, others saying he deserves to go, others saying there's issues with him. All that noise, it's just something we can do without. We need to move on. He needs to move on. He's got a big move, a great move for him. Go to the new camp. Manchester United can hopefully get some money in the for the time being, though, as I've said before, we get him off the wage bill. That is huge. He's on about 300k a week, innit, Marcus Rashford. So if you're getting him off the wage bill, that helps you in terms of not just the money you can spend on transfers, but also the money you can spend on wages this season as well. So that is a big plus for Manchester United, and it makes the camp a little bit happier. Chris Wheeler the other day was talking about the bomb squad, talking about the likes of Alejandro Garnacho, Jadon Sancho, Anthony and Tyrell Malacia being left behind at Carrington, not coming on at all because the manager's looking to move them on. We know that the manager and Marcus Rashford don't get on, so you want him out of the squad, you want him away from the camp, and he is now, and he's got to Barcelona, and I think he'll do well there. I might be wrong, I've been wrong about Marcus Rashford before, but I hope he does, and I hope United can get some money in. Another transfer story I saw doing the rounds this today, I think it was on Gimme Sport, and it's a journalist quoted who, when I looked into him, he didn't have a lot of followers. I think he had about 17,000, which always makes you think, who is he? Is he reliable? Is this old Javi Guerra from Valencia? We've been linked with him in before. We had Carl Anker on the channel, and he explained that he felt one of the rumours that, or the reasons we were linked with him, is sort of throwaway remark he made in one of his articles, how Manchester United could look at him. I don't think there's too much in this, and the people that are reporting it are not journalists I know much about or have heard from. So I think it's just one to keep an eye on. Been linked with him before, but like I say, it was a bit of a ropey, tenuous link, and it still feels like that at the minute. We are going to have loads of links, loads of reports, loads of rumours, and part of the job for us is to sift through them and say how reliable are they, how likely this happen. And with Guerra, I don't see it happening. I don't think it's very likely, but we'll keep watching it just to see if anything does develop, if there are any movements there. But as it stands, I think it's a bit of a nonsense. In terms of outgoings, it's all quiet. I mentioned there that maybe Alejandro Garnacho could be heading to Aston Villa. I mentioned the fact that there's still interest from Chelsea, but Chelsea are going turbo with other signings in the transfer window, and it doesn't look like their attention as yet is on Garnacho, but they've not closed the door on that one. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Jadon Sancho, his on-off move to Juve. And also, of course, Anthony, when a Real Betis going to pony up the dough so they can take him back to Spain. Plus, there's Tyrell Malacia still kicking around as well. So when we hear some more on all those potential outgoings, we will give you a shout. We're going to be here for the rest of the tour. We're going to be covering all the games. So make sure if you're not doing so already, you are hitting like, share and subscribe. And also a big thank you to everyone. It's been 5 years of Stretford Paddock, and we cannot be here, or we wouldn't be here in New York, in America, covering another tour of lasting for 5 years if it wasn't for all the support you guys have given us. So we're massively thankful to everyone. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to give us a like. I've been Jay Marty. This has been a Paper Talk from a pretty warm New York. Thanks for watching.